Hi there, and welcome back to another neuroscience lesson brought to you by UCLA InterAxon's Media Committee. If you've already seen our neuron video, you're about to learn more about the cells that outnumber them, glial cells. If you haven't seen it yet, now might be a good time to go watch it. So, let's get to it. Glial cells help our nervous system by supplying nutrients, holding things in place, and getting rid of waste. There are 4 glial cells in the central nervous system, or CNS, and 2 in the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. You already know that the CNS is made up of the brain and the spinal cord, so the PNS is made up of all nerves beyond the brain and spinal cord. We'll start with the 4 CNS glia.
Astrocytes are the most common glial cell and get their name from the Greek word for star, astron. These star-shaped cells form the blood-brain barrier, which stops dangerous chemicals from reaching your brain. Astrocytes do this by wrapping their tiny feet around blood vessels and keeping them tightly connected. They also recycle neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers neurons use to talk to each other. Next, we have ependymal cells. These cells line spaces in the brain called ventricles and make cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, provides nutrients to the nervous system, helps get rid of waste, and provides a cushion for your brain. Without this fluid, your brain would hit your skull every time you moved your head. To make sure CSF is made and absorbed normally, ependymal cells have little hair-like structures called cilia that move or brush the fluid around. Next up are microglia, which help clean up the nervous system. Neurons connect at synapses where neurotransmitters cross. Keeping these synapses takes a lot of energy. So if you don't use them, microglia come in like Pac-Man and eat those connections away. They also gobble up wastes and junk. If you want to stop microglia from eating your memories, make sure you study often to make your synapses stronger. Use it or lose it. The last glial cell in the CNS is the oligodendrocyte. Oligodendrocytes make myelin for neurons in the CNS. Do you remember what myelin does from our neuron video? It wraps around axons and keeps signals from leaking out. Remember these little gaps in the myelin called nodes of Ranvier? They help signals jump faster and faster down the axon. Without myelin, our signals wouldn't reach our brain or spinal cord fast enough, so if you touched a hot pot on accident, you wouldn't pull your hand away very quickly. That sounds pretty painful. Now we can talk about the 2 glial cells of the PNS, Schwann cells and satellite cells. Schwann cells are a lot like oligodendrocytes. Both cells myelinate, or make myelin for axons, but in different locations. Oligodendrocytes myelinate axons in the CNS, while Schwann cells myelinate in the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS. Schwann cells were named after the German scientist Theodor Schwann, who discovered them in 1839. Last but not least, we have the satellite cell. Many satellite cells wrap around the somas, or cell bodies of neurons. Scientists are still figuring out what these cells do, but it looks like they help your neurons fire stronger and keep them alive.
You've done a great job of forming new synapses by learning today, but why don't we make those connections stronger with a quick quiz? Can you name the 4 glial cells of the central nervous system? Yes, they are the astrocytes, ependymal cells, microglia, and oligodendrocytes. Now, what is the most common glial cell? That's right, astrocyte is correct. Here's another one. What's the name of the star-shaped cell that blocks bad chemicals from reaching your brain? It's the astrocyte again.
Which cell is like Pac-Man, gobbling up weak synapses? Microglia is correct. Which glial cell makes myelin for your CNS? Oligodendrocytes or Schwann cells? Yes, oligodendrocytes for the CNS and Schwann cells for the PNS. Here's a tricky question for you. What's the name for the little hairs on ependymal cells? They are called cilia and help move cerebrospinal fluid around. Well, that was the last question. If you want to keep reviewing what you learned today, please check out the flashcards in the description. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.